Welcome to Daily Speak English channel. English podcast for easy English conversation.
Okay, so picture this. Last year, a rooftop cafe. My friend introduces me to his girlfriend. She's French, she speaks English, I speak English. This should be fine. And she looks at me and says, "So Daniel, what do you do for fun?" And I know the answer. I have hobbies. I have opinions. I have entire sentences about this in my head. And then I open my mouth and I say, I like the music. And sometimes walk.
Oh no, I know that feeling exactly.
I like the music, like I never met music before.
I once tried to tell someone I was nervous and I said, I am shy of you. Just, I am shy of you like a Victorian child.
And the worst part is you knew the right words. They were right there.
Right there, waiting.
So that's what today is really about. Not vocabulary, not grammar. It's about the gap, that terrifying little gap between what you know and what actually comes out.
Welcome, I'm Maya.
And I'm Daniel, and this is Real Talk English, your cozy little place to learn English through real, everyday conversations.
And today, if you stay with us, here's what you're going to understand by the end. Why your speaking freezes even when you know the words perfectly well. What easy, natural speaking actually feels like. And crucially, how to build it. Why most of what feels productive is actually slowing you down. And one daily habit that does more for your fluency than hours of grammar study.
Whether you're B1 or C1, this episode is for you.
And later, we're going to share a simple daily practice that our listeners keep telling us changed everything for them. So stay close.
Can I say something that might be a little uncomfortable?
Always.
I think most people are learning English, but they're not actually practicing speaking English, and those are completely different things.
Say more.
Like reading grammar rules, watching videos, doing exercises, that's learning about English. It's real work, it feels productive, but speaking is a physical skill. It's closer to learning to swim than learning history. And nobody learned to swim by reading about water.
That actually lands differently when you say it like that.
Because we treat speaking like it's the exam at the end of studying. Like, once I know enough, then I'll speak. But it doesn't work that way.
Right, speaking isn't the reward. Speaking is the practice.
Exactly. And that's the first thing most people have completely backwards.
You know what I think about when you say that? There's a word for what we're describing. It's fluency. And fluency doesn't mean what most people think it means. People hear fluency and they picture someone speaking perfectly, never pausing, never making a mistake. But actually, fluency just means flow. It means the words come out. Not perfectly, just out.
Right. Fluent doesn't mean flawless.
Fluent means flowing. That's literally where the word comes from.
And here's the thing. I had a moment where that clicked for me, really clicked. I was 19, studying abroad in Dublin, and I had to make a phone call, a real phone call to my landlord about a broken heater. Nothing complicated. But on the phone, you can't see faces. You can't use gestures. There's no context. It's just words. And I completely fell apart.
Oh, phone calls are brutal.
I was rehearsing the whole conversation in my head before I dialed, like full script. And then the landlord picked up and said something slightly different from what I'd prepared for. I froze. I said, I called because the heat is not working the good way.
Not working the good way.
Not working the good way. He understood me, he fixed the heater, but I hung up and I sat on the floor for a minute because I realized I had studied English for 10 years. 10 years! And I couldn't describe a broken heater.
And that's the moment, isn't it? That's the turning point.
It was, because after that, I stopped trying to prepare conversations and I started trying to survive them. And that sounds scary, but it was actually freeing.
You know, there's a word for that experience you had on the floor, that specific feeling. It's called being self-conscious. And it's interesting because it sounds like a compliment. You're conscious of yourself, you're aware. But in speaking, it becomes the enemy. The moment you start listening to yourself speak, you stop being able to speak. Yes, it's like, okay, here's a strange comparison. You know how if someone tells you to blink normally, you suddenly can't blink normally? You start blinking wrong, yes. Speaking is exactly like that. The second you monitor yourself too closely, you lose the thing you were trying to do. And if you're listening right now thinking, but I've studied English for years and I still freeze, that is not a failure. That is a very specific problem, and it has a very specific solution. You're not bad at English. You've been practicing the wrong thing. Gently said? I mean it gently, but I also mean it honestly.
There's a habit, and I see this constantly, where people hesitate before every sentence.
And I understand why. You want to get it right. So you pause, you check the grammar in your head, you pick the perfect word, and by the time you've done all that, the moment is past. The other person has moved on, and you feel worse than if you just said something imperfect. Hesitate. That's such an important word. To hesitate means to pause because you're unsure, not because you're thinking, but because you're afraid. And the tricky thing is it feels like caution. It feels responsible. But actually, in speaking, hesitation is the thing that breaks your confidence over time. Every time you hesitate and don't speak, your brain files that as evidence. Speaking is dangerous, and it gets worse. But every time you speak, even badly, your brain...
Starting with what we're about to share with you.
Okay, so here is something you can actually use starting today.
We call it the flow method. 4 steps, each one directly targets that frozen feeling.
F, feel first. Before you speak, don't plan your grammar. Feel what you want to communicate. Are you curious, excited, confused? Let that emotion come first, and the words will follow more naturally than you expect. Emotion is the engine, grammar is just the road.
L, lose one word. When you don't know a word, don't stop. Replace it. Say something easier. Say the thing you use to open bottles instead of bottle opener. Native speakers do this constantly. We just don't notice because they do it without apologizing. This is called rephrasing, and it is one of the most powerful speaking skills you can build.
Oh, out loud every day. Pick 3 minutes, just 3, and speak out loud to yourself, to your phone, to your houseplants. Not reading, not translating, just talking. Narrate what you're doing, describe what you see. This feels strange and a little absurd, and it works better than almost anything else.
W, welcome the mess. This one might surprise you. Actively welcome the imperfect sentence. When you say something wrong, instead of going quiet with shame, just keep going. Say, how do I say this? And try again. The repair is part of the conversation. It's not a failure. In fact, people often find it more engaging, more human when you do this. It builds rapport, that warm feeling of connection between two people, faster than any perfect sentence ever could.
Flow. Feel first, lose one word, out loud, every day, welcome the mess.
And when you try this, even just once, even badly, come back and tell us what happened. We genuinely want to know.
All right, let's take a little walk through some of the words from today, the ones worth keeping.
Starting with the one that started everything for me, freeze.
To freeze, it means to suddenly stop, to become completely still or silent because of fear or shock. It's not that you can't move, it's that your brain just stops sending signals for a second.
She froze when the interviewer asked her to describe herself in English. Or, I knew the answer, but I froze completely.
What I love about this word is that it's not permanent. Things that freeze also thaw, so it already contains the idea that it passes.
Maya.
I know, both of us. Freeze.
Freeze.
Okay, and the one I keep coming back to, self-conscious, because it sounds positive and it really isn't.
Self-conscious means you're overly aware of yourself, your appearance, your words, your mistakes, in a way that makes you uncomfortable. It's different from just being shy. Shy is quiet. Self-conscious is active. It's like having a little critic sitting on your shoulder, judging everything you do in real time.
He became really self-conscious when he realized everyone was listening to his accent. Or, I used to feel so self-conscious speaking English on the phone.
The nuance here is that self-conscious isn't always bad. It just means aware. But when it gets too strong, it becomes the thing that stops you. It tips into paralysis.
Self-conscious.
Self-conscious.
Now, hesitate. Daniel already used this one beautifully.
To hesitate is to pause before doing something because you're uncertain or nervous. It's a small pause with a big cost. In speaking, it creates this cycle. You hesitate, it feels awkward, you feel worse, you hesitate more next time.
She hesitated before every sentence, and it made her feel less confident, not more. Or don't hesitate. Just say it and adjust as you go.
Hesitate is different from pause. A pause can be thoughtful. A hesitation is fear wearing a thinking face.
Oh, I like that. Hesitate.
Hesitate.
Okay, phrasal verb time. Fall apart.
To fall apart means to completely break down, to stop working the way it should. You can use it for things, plans, relationships, and, very much, for conversations.
My whole prepared speech fell apart the moment someone asked a follow-up question. Or he was fine in practice, but in the real conversation, he fell apart.
What makes this phrasal verb useful is that it's dramatic enough to feel honest, but not so harsh that it's cruel. It's actually kind of validating. Things fall apart sometimes, even good things.
Fall apart.
Fall apart.
And the second phrasal verb, one Daniel introduced, open up. In the context of speaking, to open up means to start speaking more freely, to become less guarded.
Once she stopped worrying about grammar, she really opened up. Or it took him a few minutes, but once he opened up, the conversation just flowed.
Open up implies trust. It's not just talking more, it's letting someone in. That's why it feels so good when it happens.
Open up.
Open up.
Now, fluency. We said this early, and I want to make sure it sticks.
Fluency is the ability to speak smoothly and with natural flow. Not perfectly, smoothly. It's about ease and rhythm, not accuracy. You can be fluent and still make grammatical errors. The two things are actually quite separate.
Her fluency in English surprised people because she'd never lived abroad. Or he wasn't perfect, but his fluency made him easy and enjoyable to talk to.
People often chase accuracy when they should be chasing fluency. Accuracy is for writing. Fluency is for speaking.
Fluency.
Fluency.
And a B2 word I think deserves more use. Articulate.
To articulate something means to express it clearly and effectively. It's both a verb and an adjective. An articulate speaker is someone who can put their thoughts into words really well. Not just someone with a big vocabulary, but someone who connects ideas clearly.
She gave an articulate explanation of why she'd changed careers. Or, I knew what I felt, I just couldn't articulate it in English.
This one is worth feeling proud of. When you use it, people notice. It sounds precise without sounding stiff.
Articulate.
Articulate.
And finally, rapport. We saved this one.
Rapport is that warm, easy feeling between two people when a conversation is going well. It's almost physical. You can feel it. It's connection, it's comfort, it's the sense that this person gets me and I get them.
They had instant rapport. The conversation just flowed naturally from the first minute. Or speaking imperfectly actually helped him build rapport because it made him seem human.
Rapport is French originally, another language that snuck into English, and it means relation or connection. Use it when you want to describe not just that you talked, but that you clicked.
Rapport.
Rapport.
Here's what I want to leave you with today. You don't need more English. You need more trust in the English you already have.
And here's what we'd love to hear from you. Think of one moment, just one, a time your English surprised you. Maybe it went better than you expected, or maybe it went hilariously wrong, and you survived anyway. Share it with us. Wherever you're listening, leave us that story. One sentence is enough. We read everything.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Maya. Take care of your English.
And take care of your heart.
Next time, we're talking about something a lot of people avoid. How to disagree in English without sounding rude or cold. It's trickier than it sounds. We'll see you there.